Well, on that team of Bagwell, Biggio, the best player was Lance Berkman. The best player on those Houston teams was Lance Berkman.
And I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top. Keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up. I'm coming up. The good life. Good life. Oh, good life. Good life. Good life. Good life.
Boom, coming in hot. Chancey, what's going on, brother?
Coming in hot, man. You're playing right field today, right center field today.
I'm right, dude. I'll go right into the wall.
The good one. That's good. That's good. Hey, I gotta think, you have kids. I don't, but we have a niece and we have a backyard and we have a pool. Bro, 30 kids for Amaya's 5th birthday party this weekend. I'm stressing out, dude.
Oh my God, this weekend, dude, 30 kids. That's when you like, you gotta be like, I can't make it. You know, you gotta go like, I'm going to get a deli sandwich and never come back.
No, well, our thing, we're gonna keep Macy at home. And I'm like, oh, I'll take care of Macy up in a bedroom. I'll just hang out with her. You handle it. I want like release forms. I want to get like a lawyer in here. So if anybody trips, I don't have to do it. Terrifying.
It's so good. That's so good.
What's the craziest
dude,
birthday party?
You're gonna have to do some meditation before they come over.
Oh, I
Get
did.
locked in.
Did you do like the 5-year-old crazy parties with like a donkey and stuff or whatever? Like, did you do?
Yeah, dude, I did all that stuff. It actually, me too. Like little kids stress me out. You know what's funny too?
Me too.
Other people's kids stress me out. Like I'm always like, listen, my kids are fine. I got control over them, all that stuff.
I know.
But when other kids would come, I'm like, I look at the parents like, I don't know if that's okay, but I'd be like, hey, get a hold of your kids. Like, are we disciplining your kids at home? Or why is little Billy, why is his popsicle on the couch? Why is his popsicle on the couch? What are we doing here?
I'm the same, dude. I'm the same. I don't get upset. I don't even get upset with the kids. I just look right at the mom or the dad. I'm like, what are you paying attention to? Why'd you do this? If you were going to do this, you better pay attention to the thing.
Not true.
Sorry. I'm jaded. All right. Hey, we're going to start backwards today. There's baseball stuff to talk about. We owe an apology to our fans because we were so fired up. Sean Casey is so fired up because everybody's saying Joey Votto Hall of Famer, Joey Votto Hall of Famer. But there's a guy who's not in the Hall of Fame who Sean Casey thinks needs to be in a Hall of Fame. And we need to dive into these metrics and dive into this. Sorry, we're a day late, everybody, but Sean, let's go. What do you got?
I love that we teased tomorrow Berkman Votto, and then we didn't even say anything. We forgot.
There you go.
Well, there was so much stuff to talk about. We got so down the story, memory lane. Next thing you know, we forgot. But hey, listen, I was saying it before. I think because of Joey Votto and this generation of players, and I honestly think Joe Mauer was kind of one of the first guys. You're like, Mauer's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and then you start diving into the numbers, and you're like, a lot of the big numbers, you're comparing them with Johnny Bench and Pudge Rodriguez, then Joe Mauer sitting there. You're like, wow, how's that? Because the advanced metrics, the WARs, and all those, those metrics, the OPSs, all that stuff now is coming into play more than ever with the Hall of Fame voters. It used to be just the clean, maybe RBIs, hits, home runs, 500 homers, 3,000 hits. That's not going to happen anymore because these guys aren't playing 20 years. They're not, I think there's a generation of players that aren't as healthy as guys used to be. I mean, guys get hurt more nowadays than ever. I really believe that. So when I look back, I think one thing changed when you're playing against guys, when you're playing against Randy Johnson, you're like Hall of Famer. When you're playing against Larry Walker, you're like Hall of Famer. When you're playing against, when you're playing with Ken Griffey Jr., Hall of Famer. David Ortiz, Hall of Famer. These guys are just like, who the Hall of Famer is. Jeff Bagwell, Hall of Famer. Craig Biggio, these guys. Well, on that team of Bagwell, Biggio, the best player was Lance Berkman. The best player on those Houston teams was Lance Berkman. In that era, obviously Baggy had an unbelievable run too, and then Berkman came along, and those were still the big names. But Lance Berkman was the guy hitting 40-some home runs a year, driving in 130 runs. And if you go back recently, Santander, who's about to hit 40 home runs, would be like the 10th switch hitter just ever hit 40 home runs or whatever. And you go look at the numbers. You're like, oh man, that's incredible. Who were the other guys? Like Mantle 1, Mantle 2, Berkman 3, Chipper Jones 4, Berkman 5, like hit 40 home runs, like 45, 42. And you want to talk about zero steroids, like no implications of Lance Berkman, that this guy just ate cheeseburgers and like a couple milkshakes. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was never any thought of any of that stuff. So when I look back at his career, and especially when Edgar Martinez went in, I was like, Edgar Martinez did okay. I get it because he's one of the best to ever do it. But Lance Berkman's played a position, played center field, played first base, and his numbers might be better than Edgar Martinez's. And Lance is already off the ballot, right? So like, so now we're talking Joey Votto, and everyone's like, okay, Votto's in. So let's go through some of the numbers, Chinch, because you have them pulled up, and I think it's worth it to look at, like, for all of us that are saying, oh, Votto, he's definitely a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. We got to go back to Berkman's numbers, because I think one of the biggest stats is Berkman played less games than Joey Votto. I mean, almost 200 less games than Joey Votto, and the numbers are eerily similar, and most of them trend that Berkman's career was better.
Yep.
So I'm saying if we're looking at Votto, I think Votto is a Hall of Famer and will be in Cooperstown. We got to get Lance Berkman back from the Veterans Committee or whatever and get this right for some of those guys.
Got it. All right. I got the stats here. Let me read off the stats, and then when I'm done with the stats, you can pick and choose the ones that are important. Now, you mentioned it. Berkman, 15 seasons, Votto, 17. Came out to about a year and a half, I would say, difference, because games, Berkman, 1879. Votto 2056. All right, ready? Rip through the numbers. Runs. Berkman 1146. Votto 1171. Hits. Berkman 1905. Votto 2135. Now we're getting tight here.
That's the one category he's got him by a couple little under a couple hundred or right around there. So
yeah. Now, but we're going to get the batting average soon where it kind of evens out. So hits, we said Berkman 1905, Votto 2135. Doubles, Berkman 422, Votto 459. Homers, Berkman 366, Votto 356. RBIs, Berkman 1234, Votto 1144.
wow.
I'll go to on base percentage next. Berkman 406, Votto 409, and Votto's on base percentage. It was a whole thing. They got almost the same with more power numbers, right? Hold on.
That's that's the number. Everyone's like, oh, Votto on base. Like Berkman's right there, 406 to 409.
Yeah. Also, batting average. Everybody says Joey Votto, that career 300 here. Votto 294, Berkman 293. Okay. OPS, Berkman 943. Votto 920. Let's stop here for right now.
Wow, that's a big number too, dude. 943 OPS for your career. I mean, Votto's at 920. That's incredible. If you're over 9, you almost have to be. That's not true because there are a lot of Hall of Famers that aren't over 9. But if you're over 9 for that long, 940 something, that means you're over 1,000 for a ton of years in your career. If you're at 940 average, that means you're over 1,000 for a ton of years in your career. That's incredible. That's incredible. Like, so, I mean, Lance Berkman, dude, and don't forget, he was a switch hitter. He was a switch hitter. When you talk about the greatest switch hitters ever, you got to go to Mickey Mantle, Chipper Jones, Eddie Murray, Carlos Beltran, who's going to get in. Like Lance Berkman is in that category. He's one of the greatest switch hitters to ever play the game. One of the greatest hitters to ever play the game. One of the greatest switch hitters to ever play the game. This guy's an absolute animal. And can you go to the MVP race? I mean, he was top 5 in the MVP races like 7 years.
Yeah, I'll give you both. And yeah, okay. So we say Joey Votto is going to be Hall of Famer. So he won 1 MVP. That's a total feather in a cap. You can't even argue with that. Finished 6th once, finished 6th twice, finished 3rd once, finished 7th once, finished 2nd once. Let's go to Berkman. Never won the MVP, but he finished 5th one year, finished 3rd one year, finished 7th one year, finished 3rd, finished 5th, finished 7th in his age. Finished 7th in his age 35 season. Okay.
With St. Louis, and he won a World Series with St. Louis. He won a World Series, and not only did they win the World Series, go back to that. It was one of the greatest World Series ever, 2011, I believe, when Freese hit those 2 hits.
Yes.
Dude, Berkman's the guy that tied the game with the 2 outs in the 9th.
Correct.
It was what, dude? Lance Berkman was one of the most clutch players I've ever seen, ever.
Yeah, great point. Here's a Hall of Fame sell for him. Okay, 5 years, 11 series in the postseason. Lance Berkman, career batting average 317. In 2011, at 35 years old, in the World Series, to your point, 423 batting average.
There you go, dude. There you go. So he has the postseason stats, and he has and what are does he have Votto's postseason stats? Can we pull those up? Because
Joey Votto,
you know, that's interesting.
Many of them, to be honest. Let's see.
Yeah, but I'm saying Berkman, dude. Berkman was the guy when I'm telling you, he was a Cincinnati Reds killer too. His numbers for the Reds, I think over 162 is like 40, 50 homers.
I'm gonna
160 RBIs, like something stupid. Like when Berkman would come up with the game on the line, like this game's over.
Yeah,
we're gonna lose.
I'm going to give you the, it's funny you bring up, I was going to do that next, 162 game average, because I used to argue with some folks, some of our researchers who are great people say, well, nobody plays 162 games, so 162 game average doesn't matter. I don't think I think you can say that about people that are hurt a lot, but these 2 guys, neither of them got hurt a lot. Votto towards the end, Berkman fought through some injuries, but when they were playing, the 162 game average, this is a big one for me. Joey Votto. Okay, 17 years, 294 with, let's do 294, 28 homers, 90 ribbies, and I'll do 36 doubles. Berkman's 162 game average, dude. Are you ready for this? I'm going up here. Regular batting, standard batting. Lance Berkman's 162 game average is a 293 batting average with 32 homers, 106 RBIs and 36 doubles. He literally was 290 something, 32, 30 and 100 every
year.
Every year. And I'm looking at his numbers. It is every year. Maybe he hit 42 homers one year. Maybe he hit 29 the other year. Maybe he had 128 RBIs one year, but he had 106 RBIs in his like lower end years. I really agree with you, Lance Berkman. And by the way, funniest dude, go back and watch our Lance Berkman interview.
Dude, he's the best. Lance is the best. And you know one thing about Lance? He's not gonna pump himself up. He's never gonna fight for himself. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And I got to talk to even Brian Kenny, who obviously is a big part of the Hall of Fame, introduces all the players. I mean, he's a mainstay. He thinks Berkman's a Hall of Famer.
And big analytics guy, Brian Kenny.
Big analytics guy, right? Do the numbers. Yeah, and he's a darling for the new numbers too. He's a darling for the old numbers, you know, batting average, RBIs, and home runs and stuff. But he's also a darling for WAR and on base and OPS plus, all that stuff. So, yeah, Joey Votto, he should be in Cooperstown, and if Joey Votto goes in, Lance Berkman should be in Cooperstown too. And I think you got to go back at some point too and look at some of the other guys too, like we said, Dale Murphy and Will Clark and Don Mattingly. I mean, Donnie Baseball for 5-6 years was the greatest player on the face of the planet with the Yankees in the Bronx. So it's just, dude, the Hall of Fame debate's great. And I do think now with the numbers, you could quantify players in a different way. I think more players are going to be appreciated that kind of got passed over.
Yeah.
Like you got to go back and look at Kenny Lofton too. Kenny Lofton's numbers might be better than Tim Raines. You know, and he's off the ballot quickly, you know, so.
Yeah. Dude, Kenny Lofton, that 97 year when they had all those bangers in those lineups, those like 90s.
Yeah, Lofton was, if you can believe it, Lofton wasn't on that 97 team. He was on 95.
Oh, right. No, 97,
I was on 97. Grissom was on. Marquise Grissom was
on. Yeah, they kind of flip-flopped, and then Lofton came back. Oh,
they brought him back, yeah.
Wait, All-Star game that year, I want to say that was an All-Star game in Cleveland? And
in Cleveland, yes. Sandy Alomar Jr.
And the Cleveland crowd just went nuts. Kenny Lofton was a dynamic player and somebody you were scared of when he played. So yeah, you're right.
Dude, he played incredible center field too.
Incredible center
Such a
field.
good athlete. He was just awesome.
I do like that they make some corrections. You know, the Hall of Fame voting is not easy. There are a lot of people that take it very seriously. Like if you look at the bulk of the concept of the Hall of Fame, it's the guys really do try to get it right. Ken Rosenthal like gets agita for like 6 weeks before he puts his ballot in. A lot of those guys do it right. And then later on in the years, we get a lot of corrections. You know, you get corrections and you get guys in, maybe not in the right time, but we get them in. Anyway, what's going on? You're on Central today.
I got MLB Central today. Then I'm flying home. Can't wait to get home and see the family, dude.
What are we getting on Central this morning? What are you talking about? Do you know yet?
Just awesomeness. We got. They're gonna do that. They're gonna do the fill the plate, I believe, with the 2001 All-Star team. So.
Oh, you're playing the game?
Yeah, I'm playing it. So I gotta go take a look at that list so I can remember.
All right, go research. Who's your researcher today?
I'm not sure. I gotta go call. I gotta call somebody.
All right, Casey's got to
All
get.
right, man.
All
All right, brother. Hey, listen, Chichi, have a great rest of the day, dude. Have a great weekend. I'm sure I'll talk to you at some point. But everyone out there, thanks for listening. We appreciate you. And don't forget to subscribe and download and tell all your friends about us. All right, Chichi. Love you, man. I'll talk Berkman, Hall of Fame, Votto, Hall of Fame. Let's go.
There you go. All right.